Today, we are diving into the story behind the Net Positive Consortium, a collective of wealth management firms and RIAs committed to sharing best practices and creating a measurable impact across their teams, their clients, their communities, and even the planet. So, whether you are a small boutique firm or a large enterprise, there's something here for everyone. I'm Johnny Sandquist, founder of Three Crowns Marketing, and here with me today are Mike LaMena, Wealthspire CEO, Grant Rawdin, CEO over at Wescott Financial Advisory Group, and Suzanne Siracuse of Suzanne Siracuse Consulting. Grant, we're going to start at the beginning, right? So what inspired the creation of the Net Positive Consortium in the first place? What was that initial spark that brought this idea to life?
Sure. So many of us do many things in the area. And I know it started with the fact that my firm, Wescott, has been in the philanthropic space for some time. And we pursued becoming part of a sort of a broader philanthropic community by becoming a certified B Corp in 2020. A certified B Corp is a certification that a company has taken a multitude of real and prescribed efforts in their commitment to give back. So fast forward, my dear friend, and actually everybody's dear friend, Michael Nathanson of then Colony Group, now Focus, approached me and said he wanted to do something similar, but on a broader basis and without the rigor of the B Corp requirements and for the financial services wealth management industry. He wanted firms to be flexible about sort of the ideals that each firm might have versus some governing bodies that suggest what it is that you're supposed to do or support, and just come together and learn from each other and to promote the Net Positive Pledge. The Net Positive, it comes from a book, a Net Positive, that spoke about net Positive, which is the premise is essentially to strive to give back more than you take and that you get. Michael assembled a really good group of RIA leaders. We began a series of calls where we discussed how each firm could rally together, as I said, learn from each other, talk about net positive in our lives and whatever that meant to our individual firms. No topical requirements per se, just pillars reflecting that what we agree are the bona fide approaches and efforts in providing philanthropic community service. So that guides our leadership. It gives context in giving back to do more, to be doing it within our firms, the community, wherever it is that we're choosing to do it. So we fleshed it out. We spent a lot of time, and then we brought on the incomparable Suzanne Siracuse to help put this together. And the rest is the next chapter in our history. So that was it, Johnny, all the way from the beginning.
That's awesome. It's a great summary. And it's great to have you all on this call because you've been in it from the beginning. And Suzanne, you have this too, but also you've been behind, some of the most influential initiatives in our industry. So I want to pivot over to you and ask you what drew you to this one and how did your involvement shape what it is today?
Yeah, thanks. And Grant did a great job of setting this up, by the way. And Michael Nathanson called, right? And he told me about the concept around a group of wealth management firms that were embracing this net positive mindset and business philosophy. And as Grant mentioned, he was inspired by the book Net Positive: How Courageous Companies Thrive by Giving More Than They Take. And it was co-written by the former CEO of Unilever. And Michael really wanted to drive that message specifically within the wealth management industry. So in the beginning, there were about 12 firms that he had spoken to already. Grant's firm was one of them. And they wanted to participate and help fund creating some kind of study group or consortium of sorts around the net positive concept. He knew I'd launched a lot of things from my background at Investment News and now on my consultancy. So he asked if I could help figure out how to get this off the ground. What was this? What could this look like? And what could the impact be for the industry? And I love this idea so much. I was really excited to be a part of it. And the first thing I did was speak to all of the firms who were supporting it and actually understand what they were doing at their firms that made them net positive. And it was really astounding. There are so many great programs and initiatives that were happening, but no one other than like the firm's team members knew about them really. And no one was talking about it externally. And the media, right, loved to report on deals and comings and goings and all of that. But these initiatives and programs were far more interesting and important to the success of the industry overall, from my opinion. I got really excited. As Grant mentioned, we created 5 pillars that represented the overall themes of the programs that the firms were involved in and what they were focused on. And those are teams, clients, community, industry, and the planet. And this was a really important step because it helped firms organize how they think about this. And it created a framework that other firms could replicate and use. In addition, we created an easy assessment document based on that framework. So essentially, each firm that's interested would fill it out, and all of the firms that are involved have filled it out. And they became these like mini use cases and real life examples that helped us create the website and our core resource, which is Unlocking Your True Potential Executive Brief. You know, the NPC, as we call it for short, is really about assisting firms as they think strategically about how they want to thrive in the future, which is different than now, right? And that's could be with their teams, their clients, their community, and how they can impact our industry and the world in a profound way. You know, team members, current and future, want to know that their company is like thinking about this stuff and their overall footprint on how they are helping others and giving back in some way. Same with clients. So that's really how this all started, how I got involved. And we keep adding more firms and more partners and more resources, and the momentum just keeps building.
That's great, Suzanne. So, Mike, let's bring you into the conversation here for a moment. We've kind of got that high level look at where things came from and where they've started, but I really want to dive into the details with you. Also, tell me, how does the consortium really define being a net positive firm? And probably more importantly, how does that be differ or look different than a firm who's just out there already doing good in their local area?
Yeah, great question, Johnny. And it really builds off what, Grant and Suzanne shared. And I'll reference the same book that both Grant and Suzanne referenced as kind of the founding principle of this, which is Net Positive: How Courageous Companies Thrive by Giving More Than They Take, written by authors Paul Pullman, former CEO of Unilever, and Andrew Winston. In that book, they lay out core dimensions of a business that unlocks lasting value and grows by actually helping the world prosper. They get more specific and define that a net positive company is one that improves the well-being of everyone it impacts, and at all scales: every product, every operation, every region, country, for every stakeholder, including employees, suppliers, communities, customers, and even future generations and the planet as well. So when the Net Positive Consortium in Wealth came together and defined what net positive would mean for our industry, we did that through the lens of a pledge, a commitment for each firm to make, correlated to that original definition of net positive. So for us, a net positive firm is a firm that makes the pledge to be a net positive company, giving more to the world than we take, that will be a stakeholder company committed to improving the well-being for everyone we impact, including our clients, employees, communities, our broader industry, something we've naturally historically done, but recommitting to that, investors, future generation, and the planet. Additionally, we commit to sharing our learnings, best practices, outcomes with the RIA profession and the wealth management ecosystem, with the goal of inspiring others to be net positive firms as well. So that pledge really became our way to take the general definition of a net positive firm and make it specific to our industry, honoring a lot of what we had experienced historically. We kind of have this unique ecosphere where RIAs love to share best practices. Well, now we're bringing the concept of net positive to a community that naturally shares through the lens of a formal pledge that indicates we're serious about this. And to your second point, there's always been this incredible energy and dynamicism with RIAs having impact in their local communities, being philanthropic. I think where things have evolved through this net positive lens is it gives us a common language, a framework, a structure that can bring together all the different things that we're doing. And as Suzanne indicated, give us a mechanism to better articulate that to all the stakeholders that are involved: our employees, our clients, the community we sit in, our peers. And that's powerful. I found through a lot of M&A that we've done, we've grown inorganically as well as organically. The inorganic growth, we had all these pockets of great activity going on in local communities with teams that had become part of Wealthspire, but wasn't connected. And this concept of being a net positive firm and the pledge we make kind of gives us the fabric to bring it all together so that people see the aggregate impact, but also feel connected to something bigger than what they're just doing locally.
Yeah, that's terrific. It gives this shared language that everybody can kind of get their hands around and then scale from there, right? It gives
Exactly.
everybody a
Like get
platform.
inspired by it, right?
Absolutely. So we've all, I think at this point, touched on the 5 pillars. And Suzanne, I'd like you to help us navigate a bit deeper into those because those really shape the work of the NPC. So can you quickly walk us through on what each really means? And I think most importantly, give us an example or two of these pillars in action.
Yeah, sure. And again, I love what Mike and Grant have already shared, but the pillars again are team members, clients, community, our industry, and the planet. And each pillar gives firms a way to focus and measure their impact. So let's start with team. A net positive firm really begins with its people, and this pillar focuses in on creating a workplace culture that supports the holistic well-being of employees, both present and future. Consider initiatives that promote mental health, inclusivity, professional development and training. Those are 3 very different things. Think, does your firm offer flexible work arrangements? Does it go beyond offering robust healthcare benefits? Does your firm provide or underwrite career advancement or training programs? Net positive firms really believe that by investing in the well-being and growth of the team, you're creating and building a strong foundation that fosters loyalty, productivity, ultimately benefiting both the employee and the firm. And quite frankly, the next generation of talent is going to demand this from their employers of choice. The next pillar is community, and this is all about community service, charitable giving, volunteerism, and partnerships with nonprofits. Whether your firm rallies around a specific charity or supports causes important to individual team members, being active in the community fosters goodwill and it strengthens the firm's public image. So firms should think about providing a matching gift program for charities and perhaps allowing for extra PTO days dedicated to volunteerism. Then there's the planet. This pillar is really about intentional efforts to minimize your environmental footprint. Are you implementing green office practices, reducing energy consumption, or partnering with environmental organizations? Consider how you as a firm can reduce waste, promote recycling. Maybe you prohibit the use of plastic water bottles like a few of our member firms do, or monitor the room temperature at the office. Additionally, firms may support broader sustainability initiatives such as eco-friendly investment strategies or corporate responsibility programs. We also then have the pillar focused on a firm's clients. And this pillar really encourages firms to focus on client education and support, particularly around financial literacy, impact investing, and charitable giving. By educating clients on how their investments can align with their social good or how they can incorporate philanthropic goals into their financial planning, you're really helping that client build a meaningful legacy. So, for example, a few member firms produce webinars for their clients' children to educate them on basic financial principles, and other firms have sophisticated impact investing seminars, and others make charitable giving a key offering for their entire client base. And last but not least is the industry pillar, our industry. This pillar challenges firms to pay it forward by giving back to the profession that has enabled their success. It could be through mentoring young advisors or offering internships to students, sharing your knowledge at industry conferences. This pillar is really about fostering the next generation of advisors and leaders. And it's also an opportunity to share expertise and elevate industry standards. And by the way, being a member of the consortium is a great way to give back to the industry. So those are the pillars and a few examples of programs in each.
Yeah, those are fantastic. And we've got nobody better than Grant and Mike to take us off from that question and really give us a peek inside of your own firms. So I'm going to have you tag team this question. Maybe Grant, I'll get you to answer it first, and then Mike, come in on the back half. But guys, why did you decide to become founding members? And since the founding of the firm, how's membership shaped your culture, benefited you?
Well, I would start off with that we're all by nature, if you're in this profession, you're collaborative people, you want to help people, and that goes to all people within our firm. So we're all involved in a number of different things. Mike actually said it earlier, I think really well. We are by nature as a profession helping each other. We've done that so much in advancing our profession and sitting around and talking about things that we're doing philanthropically, things that are going on in the community was really nice, but it was more anecdotal as opposed to more deliberate. So from the standpoint of leadership in our firm, it was a way for us to galvanize not only what we were doing, but to be able to share, to learn, to teach, develop best practices, and bring a more formalized approach to and context to what it is that what we do. And then that trickled down to the rest of the staff as we talked about not only what we've done in other areas philanthropically and encouraged everybody's participation in a variety of things and how they have appreciated a myriad of things, as Suzanne was talking about, for example, around policies about staff and whatnot. But they saw this as a way to further the impact our industry, our profession, the world just generally by banding together and promoting. So it's sort of a play within a play because you're promoting doing good by working with others who are also trying to do, and together we're become much more powerful in it. So when the idea came up, it was like, why didn't we think of this before? And just a wonderful team of people. I'm so proud to be working with so many of the other firms. We get so much done, and everybody has great gratitude for everybody else.
It really becomes contagious, doesn't it, Grant? Right? Like you have all these pockets of great activity going on, but like I think one of the reasons we joined is the message originally like resonated with us that if we could put a better framework around it, we could amplify the impact that we are having. And as Grant indicated, we're all in the business of having impact with clients, like impact in our local communities, impact with our people that are serving clients every day. And this framework gave us the common vocabulary, a toolkit, a structure to really help organize ourselves. Like all these good things are going, but like the pillars that Suzanne walked through, it gives you an ability to kind of organize your thoughts. People then see the larger aggregate impact you're having and have a way to put it into those pillars so that they see meaningful impact in particular elements and they're seeing the overall impact the organization is having. So for us, it's been exactly what we hoped it would be. It's an accelerant. It allows us to amplify our impact within our firm and be connected to a community of people that want to share best practices, that want to help each other have impact, that are coming with curiosity and enthusiasm and energy. And it's frankly refreshing. It's been a huge accelerant. So we couldn't be happier to be a part of it. And we see great things in the future. So, the more firms we get connected, I think the more intellectual sharing occurs and the collective wisdom, the collective experience is only going to increase the impact that we can have across all 5 pillars. So it's been great, and I'm really excited for the future.
Awesome. Well, you've all done, I think, an excellent job of describing the purpose, the impact, the value that MPC provides to you. And so hopefully anybody who is watching this is thinking, how can I get involved? So Suzanne, I can toss it back to you and bring us home. Maybe the most important question that I asked today for firms, for advisors who are thinking about membership. What steps should they take to align with the MPC principles and get actively involved?
Yeah, great. Thank you for asking that question. Mike and Grant and their firms are such wonderful partners to this and great examples of firms that are really leading our industry into the next generation of talent. They're leading into the future and just really appreciate everything that they're doing for the consortium. So how do firms get involved? So to become a member firm, firms need to do a few things. They have to have completed that assessment that I referenced earlier and have documented what they're currently doing at their firms. You can access the assessment. It's on the website. You fill it out, on your laptop or your computer. You save it, email it to me at Suzanne@netpositivewealth.com. And then our governance committee reviews it. They have pledged, to meet the recommended minimum requirements, which is they have to have at least 3 programs or initiatives in place in any of those 5 pillars that I mentioned. And that is a fairly low bar. If you think about all the different things that your firm is doing, I guarantee you most firms can think of 3 things that they're doing. They probably just haven't thought about it in that way. And that's what that framework really helps you do. Firms need to look to increase what they're currently doing through their involvement with the Net Positive Consortium. They've had to agree to the official Net Positive Pledge. They should state on their website that they've taken the Net Positive Pledge. We have a really nice little banner that you can put up on your website. And then lastly, they've donated to the Net Positive Consortium Fund. That is for fees associated with creating and promoting resources that tie back to our goals. Firms can also become strategic partners to the Net Positive Consortium, and we can create custom partnerships for firms like we did with our first strategic partner, FP Transitions. Johnny, think of us as a nonprofit startup. We need more members, we need more funding, we need more distribution of the resources we're creating, and we need more ideas from more firms about how they are actively demonstrating being a net positive firm so others can get inspired by their activity. It's really been a great experience so far, and we would love to see many more firms join us on this journey.
Suzanne, I would actually say, like, when you talk about the application process, you're actually getting some of the value even in applying, right? It's helping you aggregate everything you're doing, organize it, put context around it. People see the overall impact you're having, and you're doubling down on your commitment to accelerate the impact you're having. So even the application process is of benefit and, aligned with the mission that we have. So thanks for walking through that.
That's great. Great add-on.
Absolutely. And thank you to the 3 of you, Grant, Suzanne, Mike. Appreciate you guys taking the time out today to talk about the what, the why, the how of Net Positive Consortium. Appreciate it.
Terrific.
Thank you.
You.